They take a Captain Crunch whistle and blow it into a payphone, and suddenly the phone call is completely free. So basically, the thing is that back in the day, when you call your friend, the line will first connect to your local exchange and then connects it to your friend. But if the friend is not in the same local exchange, it uses something called as tandem switches that connect to other tandem switches in a long distance through the trunk lines. Those switches connect to the remote local exchange and finally to your friend. These switches communicate with the other switches using something called as multi-frequencies, meaning different frequencies to indicate different commands. Like one type of frequency to indicate that the line is idle, another type of frequency to indicate the number, and so on. One such frequency is 2600 Hz. That is used to indicate that the line is idle. So if you hung up the call, the switch identifies that the connection from the local exchange is cut and sends a 2600 Hz signal to other switches indicating that the trunk line is idle now. But the important point here is that the lines through which these commands are passed are the same lines through which our voice travels. So there were some people known as phone phreaks, or you can say phreaks. What they do is that they call some toll-free number, which is essentially connected through the trunk lines. Then they blow the Captain Crunch whistle, which is of the same frequency, that is 2600 Hz. This impersonates as a switch, and the other switch thinks that the line is idle now and cut the call with the toll-free number and is ready for the next command. But the phreak is still on the line. Remember, he did not cut the call. In the early times, they did not do much. They just used to prank call or listen to other people. But after some exploration, they designed something called as blue boxes, which can generate the frequencies of switches and use them to connect to their friends and talk for free, because remember, they have called a toll-free number. Ultimately, this technique has become obsolete after the introduction of transistors, which made everything digital, but it gave birth to modern hacking, whose motivation is to identify the vulnerabilities and loopholes in a device. Because note that the phreaks were actually interested in knowing the working of the phone, not using it for free. Did you know the former CEO of one fruit-named tech company once used to sell these blue boxes? Comment down if you know.